An impromptu, free-for-all Tumble matchup to determine the #1 contender to face SoberSwine for the Tumble Championship on Minecraft. Welcome to the Sunday night minigame night branch. I'm AdrianTheVoice at game side, also joined by SoberSwine, the guy who joined us last week. Welcome, Sober.
Hello, everyone. Best Tumble player champion.
Well, Sober, you called yourself the best player yet again. But tonight, there will be one player who's going to be winning this matchup to face you in a 1v1 Tumble Championship matchup next week. With that said, do you feel confident?
Well, it depends. It depends. Like, what is their strategy and what they do? So,
well,
yeah, I feel like I can be the best. I can still beat them.
Well, we're going to find out next week. I can't wait, though. I mean, you were kind of cocky last week, by the way. And it looks like, out of nowhere, welcome Cobra. 71-1 right then and there. I do want to say the first man to reach to 3 points will indeed become the #1 contender to face you, SoberSwine, as the second round now begins, of course. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, the Tumble #1 contender matchup is underway. All these great players now spreading throughout the map. Of course, their job is to try to, well, basically try to bury their own, well, players. Make them fall under the lava, I should say. SoberSwine, I do have to ask the question, though. You are the Tumble champion, obviously, and you were kind of cocky last week. Are you at all humble, though? Would you feel humble at all? I mean, if someone maybe wins tonight and actually beats you next week.
Well, it depends. It really just depends on how my mood is. Like, if I'm in a good mood, then yeah. I'll be like, hey, but if I'm in a bad mood, then I'll be like, no, this is unfair, I failed.
So does this mean that last week you were in a bad mood?
And I felt in a good mood.
Well, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, the impromptu free-for-all Tumble matchup to determine the #1 contender to face SoberSwine. 1 point by Welcome Cobra 71, who's currently winning right now. But the first man to reach to 3 points will indeed become the #1 contender. And there you see these great players, of course, trying to break all these blocks right now to make their opponent fall here. UHCX Shooter right now is actually still alive. Remember, he was the battle champion before he got stripped off. Looking to actually become a champion yet again, the Tumble champion, that is, as UHCX Shooter now is looking on. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, last night, what a huge night. Zephyr quitting. We are just 24 hours removed. As you see, a player just fell down there. And I believe, yes, it is. It's Shooter versus FaZe Warren. Of course, these two are going at it. Who's going to be the winner of this matchup, ladies and gentlemen? We know for a fact Welcome Cobra will not advance to 2 points this round. He has been eliminated. And there you see the bats now surrounding, though. Those are the eliminated players right now spectating. And SoberSwine has just basically joined us here tonight, a part of the game night. And Sober, the winner of this matchup, will be facing you next week. I can't wait.
Can't wait either. I want to see how good they are.
Awesome. Right, and well, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, Shooter here. And, well, there you see, of course, I believe he's trying to attack his opponent, who's FaZe Warren right now, trying to break as many blocks as possible. You know, he talked about the strategy, by the way. There are so many. Wait a minute. Shooter right now advancing through. Warren realizes it, and he backs off. A lot of suspense is beginning to build for both of these gentlemen here involved in this matchup, of course, with their shovels in hand. And remember, when Showdown begins, they actually have the snowballs. And speaking about Showdown, next week on Showdown, Got Milk, Finest Bubbles, and TK will be in one party, and there's Showdown, as mentioned. FaZe Warren right now with the snowballs in hand, trying to push off Shooter right now, as well as, well, Shooter as well. And wait a minute, Shooter fell off, and FaZe Warren won the round. He did not win the matchup, though. So it's coming out of this. Welcome Cobra and FaZe Warren have 1 point. This matchup could be very long, by the way. I mean, not for nothing, every single person can have a point, by the way. Sober, so you were claiming that you were the greatest player of all time and all that stuff. I mean, again, you've only been in one game, though. Are you going to really prove it that next week that you truly are the best?
Yes, I know I'm the best. And besides, like I play with my other friends, and I get them behind.
Well, I mean, we're going to find out next week, though. If you do win, you know, I'm probably going to begin to... You're going to think that you may very well be a, well, great player. I wouldn't really consider you the best, though, unless if you really do prove it. FaZe Warren, though, looking on, of course, trying to take down Apex. Apex now running around among the others. And, of course, you have to understand for each of these competitors, they're going to have to try to, well, they're going to have to try to do all they can to stay isolated from all the other opponents. Of course, the opponents are going to do all they can to try to break the blocks. Although I'm not quite sure, as you see Shooter right now is trying to break the blocks near Welcome Cobra. Welcome Cobra with a 1 point, let's not forget that. If Cobra gets 2 more, he indeed wins, as well as FaZe Warren here. Shooter's in trouble. We saw Shooter lose last round. He fell off there. And the matchup is underway, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the #1 contender. There you see Apex, of course, not going to be winning this round. He fell off there. Welcome Cobra is still alive. Among others, of course. Who's going to become the #1 contender to face SoberSwine next week? We cannot wait. And Shooter right now is looking on. It's a 3-way currently. Shooter's now breaking the blocks, continues to break the blocks here. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I can only understand for every single person here, the suspense is beginning to build and perhaps frustration and desperation. These players are going to do all they can. And look at Shooter now. He's actually advancing through to Cobra. Shooter almost falling off right there, though. You saw Cobra breaking the blocks, right? I mean, you got to understand, for every single person, they're going to have to basically strategize throughout the whole game. And each round doesn't really have a definitive winner. Let's not forget that. The 3-way right now, and let's not forget, Welcome Cobra 71. He's still alive right now. If he actually wins this round, he needs 1 more point, by the way. It looks like Welcome Cobra is the odds-on favorite as we speak. Will Cobra become the #1 contender right now? Or will it be anybody else here? As they're all just standing still right now. The question is, who's going to make the first move? Cobra 71 is running around now. Here comes Showdown. I believe all these great players were waiting for the snowballs, I believe. And the snowballs are very easy, by the way, to use. You just throw them. It can indeed push off the opponent. Look at Shooter, though, advancing towards his opponent. He was walking towards his opponent, as you see Shooter right now. Backs up, but wait a minute, now it's attacking FaZe Warren. FaZe Warren, though, able to fall off due to Shooter. So it's come down to this. Welcome Cobra versus UHEX Shooter. The man, the former battle champion, by the way, who last week, oh my, wait a minute, Shooter fell off. The point I was trying to make was the fact that Shooter did get stripped off last week. He's looking to become the champion tonight. Or I should say the #1 contender to become champion perhaps next week. As always, I'm going to have to try to eliminate myself. And, well, again, SoberSwine is with us here tonight. And, well, he's going to be watching who is going to be winning tonight. The #1 contender, ladies and gentlemen. Mythic Raptor and Dragon Mars, Apex Arrow, and FaZe Warren, UXGX Shooter, and Welcome Cobra 71, of course, all joining us here tonight, as well as Ray Paid Money 83 and Mythical Raptor, as mentioned. All these great players are part of the tonight's game night, of course, on Sunday, Minigame night. We talked about the rules. It's pretty interesting. You have to try to break as many blocks as possible to try to push your opponent down and out. You know, there are a few maps that have multiple layers, but this is actually one of those maps where it only has 1 layer, so if you fall off, you're done. There are no 2 chances, by the way. And look at UXGX Shooter, of course, continues the assault there, and Cobra right now isolating away from the opponents, and this is pretty interesting. You see the fire beginning to spread there, but I'm not quite sure if it really does affect the player, though. Welcome Cobra 71 now at the perimeter of the map right now. These players are running around with their shovels in hand, and let's, again, talk about Showdown, Sober, or the fact that once Showdown begins, basically you have the snowballs. You can indeed throw the snowballs at your opponent, which can push the opponent off. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the #1 contender for the championship next week, SoberSwine, is the champion. And SoberSwine claiming he is the greatest player. We're going to find out, though. He's going to be putting his skills up to the test next week. For the Tumble Championship, it will be a 1v1 matchup, by the way. The winner of this match will advance through. Dragon Master 435 and Apex and Shooter, of course, now. Wait a minute, Dragon and Shooter right now are actually battling it out. But it looks like, again, isolation tactics continues. And Ray Paid Money 83 right now. Wait a minute, a developing story. You saw all the players met up in the middle of the map there. You know, one person could have easily attacked all of them. Break all the blocks. And Apex right now is looking on among others. And wait a minute, there you see Shooter, of course, trying to avoid contact here. Both of these men. Wait a minute, Shooter fell off. Shooter fell off, the former battle champion. And again, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, you have to understand that, well, you really do understand that every single person has to try to do all they can to indeed win. Apex now looking on with the shovel in hand, Sober. So, Sober, again, you were cocky last week. It seems that you're not really talking as much tonight.
I want to see how they do. That's why.
Well, there we go. As you see, the showdown now begins with the snowballs, and it looks like out of nowhere, it looks like Apex fell off, though. He fell off. Repaid Money 83 wins. This matchup is looking to actually become a very long matchup tonight. 3 seconds here. We're getting set for the next round, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to become the #1 contender, though? SoberSwine, of course, basically stating that he is the best player, though. Next week, again, Sober, your skills are going to be put up to the test next week.
True.
So, do you think you're going to win?
Yep.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Hopefully, you do win, though. Because again, you were saying that you were the best player. You were saying that you were the greatest player of all time. But if you lose, you do realize you lose all the credibility.
True. That's why I put all my effort into this game.
Oh, good point. As you see, Cobra is actually standing on top of the pumpkins right now. He's basically using that tactic as well. He's not going to be attacking any other opponent. He's going to allow the other opponents to attack each other and perhaps eliminate each other. And you never know, he may very well be the last man standing. I do want to say that Welcome Cobra does have 2 points. Could this be the round where we see Welcome Cobra actually win it? It's actually a 1v1 matchup. Shooter right now is looking to actually gain control, but Cobra is gaining control as we speak. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Cobra needs 1 more point here. Cobra needs 1 more point. The question is, will Cobra actually become the #1 contender to face SoberSwine? These two are going at it, ladies and gentlemen. Shooter and Cobra 71. Now you see both men, of course, continuing to break these blocks here. Cobra 71 and Shooter right now are battling out. These are the last 2. Who's going to become the #1 contender, though? Or are we going to be seeing Cobra 71 winning this round and advancing? He's on top of the pumpkins right now, and there you see the bats flying around. They're flying around, spectating this wonderful matchup here tonight, and of course the great game, I should say the great players playing this game. We want to thank everyone watching here tonight. There you see now with the shovel in hand right now. Welcome Cobra 71. Uh-oh, wait a minute. He's in trouble. He's in the corner right now. Shooter does have him into the corner. This is going to be very easy for Shooter, but it looks like Cobra was able to escape like a snake. Cobra just slithers out of the corner here. Again, we talked about how important it is not to stay in the corner because it can be very easy for an opponent to basically break a block and allow the opponent to fall off. Shooter and Cobra are still going at it as we speak. Cobra just needs 1 more. You have to understand perhaps that the butterflies are beginning to build for Cobra. Cobra has to watch out. Shooter was, at the moment, he was right behind. Shooter right now is looking on, and with the shovel in hand, ladies and gentlemen, of course. Oh, there we go. Showdown. It's showdown time. Both men now with the snowballs. They're going to be trying to... Oh, wait a minute. Shooter's in trouble right now. He's getting pushed off, perhaps. Shooter's trying to stay away. Shooter's trying to stay away. But is it enough? Is it enough here tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, there you see, of course, continues the assault right there. Both men now. Uh-oh, Shooter's going to try right now. Shooter's going to try to break the blocks. It looks like Cobra's using the snowballs right now. And Shooter isn't going to allow it. Shooter's going to say, I'm going to break your blocks here. Cobra's in trouble. Cobra needs 1 more point, though. Will it happen here tonight? Will we be seeing a new #1 contender right here, right now? And the answer is yes. Welcome Cobra 71 as the champ. Welcome Cobra 71 as the #1 contender to face the champion. Welcome Cobra 71 as your opponent, SoberSwine.
Yeah, I can see. I'm ready for him. I'm ready.
So that concludes tonight's broadcast, but what do you have to say?
I mean, like I said before, I'll put all my best effort, but I will still win.
Okay, again, you do realize if you lose next week, you lose all credibility, right? You're putting it all on the table.
Yep.
Well, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, next week, SoberSwine versus Welcome Cobra 71 for the Tumble Championship. We cannot wait for that. Who's going to win? Sober. The championship's on the line. You're putting it on the table.
It's obviously going to be me.
We're going to find out. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.